Give the patient your full attention. Do not empower patients. Provide information, web links, follow-up phone calls, and other means of encouraging the patient's active involvement during and after the encounter. Do not end the visit before you ask if the patient has other questions or concerns. You are not actually saving time if the patient leaves without knowing what to do next. And even if you make a note to address some of the concerns on the next visit, it is ultimately more efficient to encourage full disclosure than to remain in the dark about what a patient wants and needs. Some very simple practices, but can be very, very important. And again, these are things that you could list for the caregiver's prescription, page 2 of this assignment that's due on Sunday. So, tips for bonding. Some other stuff that I have to say that is neat when they move into all the stuff about psychological influences on caregivers, and I'll let you read a lot of that stuff, but there's some really interesting things that I thought, again, could be very, very practical for this upcoming assignment or the assignment due, and that is some communication skills, dealing, also moves to stress and burnout, dealing with difficult patients. Some patients bring out the best in their caregivers. Others, a small percentage but powerful nonetheless, evoke defensiveness and anger. I know the story of somebody I know that their doctor said, just don't come anymore. Go get another doctor because they didn't want to mess with them. Okay, so treat complaints as opportunities. I'll let you read. Empower team members to handle problems before they grow. Invite in patient relationships. Invest in patient relationships. In the field guide to the difficult patient interview, Plant and Gord propose that engaging our patients in a partnership with us and enlisting them and following our recommendations are the hallmarks of effective communication. Okay. Show empathy. Display curiosity. Try a little humor. Laughter is indeed the best medicine. If the patient shows an inclination toward it, you can sometimes use gentle humor to clear the air. Tran-Sue recalls a hospital patient who did nothing but complain about the food, the service, and the interruptions. She recalls thinking to herself, I'm pretty sure there's humor under his crabbiness, but I can never quite pin it down. One day, the man declared that he wouldn't leave the hospital until the food there improved. Several days later, after checking his lab results and vital signs, Tran-Sue was prepared to discharge him, but she asked first, has the food gotten any better? He stares at me for a long time. Finally, he bursts out laughing. How do you think they'll answer that? Has the food gotten any better? You get out of here, blah, blah, blah. A wave and walk away, listening to him laugh. Okay. So, some things to deal with difficult patients, and there's also caring for self strategies. Hold daily briefings with yourself. Honestly assess your own emotions and hot buttons. The hot light is on. Go get your donut. Reflect on such questions as what made me sad, overwhelmed me, what sexually aroused me. That's weird. Made me extremely happy or even confused me. Okay. Resist the urge to put off the good stuff. Once again, you know, doctors need good stuff too. Having friends over for dinner, daydreaming, being in nature, making love and journaling. That's pretty funny. Have some quiet time, quiet walks, meditation, laughter, listen to enjoyable music, be in nature. I wonder if this is supposed to be like a list of like in sequence. What are you going to do today? Well, go for a quiet walk, take some medication, a little laugh, then I'm going to listen to some enjoyable music. In the evening, I'm going to have friends over for dinner, daydream a little bit, and I'm going to be in nature, and then I'm going to make love, and after that, I'm going to journal it all. Okay. Be mindful about what makes you happy, invest in gratifying relationships, design your own time pie, yummy. seek the company of people whose presence replenishes you. Okay, so lots of things that you can do. Again, all these also can be prescriptions for effective caregiver communication. Take care of yourself. Don't cut off the wrong leg. Doctors, as you well know, make mistakes. Caregivers make mistakes, and the book talks about why mistakes happen. But the practical thing here, I think, well, this is good, but communication skill building, managing medical mistakes. What do you do if you chop off the wrong leg? Oops. Okay. From the beginning, before you chop off the wrong leg, establish trust. Invite feedback. Respond to complaints and requests as quickly as possible. Show that you care. Create realistic expectations. Put it in writing. Do not be shy about giving referrals. Do not forget the family. Own up to small mistakes. I'm really sorry. Left, right. Sorry. So, if an error does occur, if you do chop off the wrong leg, here are 5 steps to deal with that. Rehearse how you will disclose the information. Sorry. I cut off the wrong leg. Deliver it simply, truthfully, and clearly as possible. Stop talking and listen. Now that you know that I chopped off the wrong leg, do you have any questions? Assess how the news is being received. Respond empathically. That is, try to feel what the other person is feeling. There's also some other stuff, but all this again can be part of your prescription for caregivers. And then the book also talks about the importance of multidisciplinary teamwork for caregivers, advantages of that, but also again more communication skill builders, working in teams. Honor the contributions of every individual in the team, build trust, conduct team meetings with everybody involved, develop a deep understanding of what team member has to offer each team member, be aware that conflict is a natural part of the group, monitor the health of the team. So lots of really cool things in this particular chapter. There's no I in Team America. Yeah, okay. Have you ever seen that movie? It's brilliant. It's sort of raunchy, but it's okay. So, where are you? So the prescription assignment. Again, this is on KC. All this stuff will be on KC soon, but this is already on there. What I start with is just the same stuff that was already in the syllabus. So, here's example. I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. I want you to pick and choose, obviously, what you want to include, what you think should be included in this. I like my computer glasses. It magnifies things a little bit and makes it all clear, unless it's dirty. So, okay, so I pulled these from chapter 3, the examples, and I just offer examples for patient communication, but this is what I'm looking for, right? So, well, you can have your name, prescription assignment, whatever, but then prescription for effective patient communication. I just have a couple of bullet point examples. Take stock. This is straight from chapter 3, I think chapter 3. Patients should consider their goals for visiting a caregiver and their concerns at the physical, emotional, and social level. History, patients should write a 1-page simple health history that blah, 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 blah. And a lot of this is just sort of quoting the book, and that's fine. I'm not asking you to have formal citations or anything like that. I'm not counting it as plagiarism because this is really just for you to think about, okay, here are some practices perhaps I can use myself to try to improve my patient and perhaps caregiver communication. So it's really just listing possible best practices, even as you understand everything is contextual and cultured and everything like that. So how will I grade this? I want you to have 10 prescriptions for both patient and caregiver / provider, whatever you want to call it. So at least 10 for each, for a total of at least 20, right? 10 on one page, 10 on the other page. You can do more, just don't do less. That's worth 25 points. I want to make sure that you are drawing from chapters 3, 4, and 5. That doesn't mean that you cannot use your own experience. In fact, I'm asking you to use your own experience, but for the most part, I want to see that the things that you list go back to the communication skills stuff that is listed in these chapters that we have been covering this week. Next, do you have at least one of your 10, again, you can do more than 10 for each, that actually is not in the book? Something that perhaps you picked up from your own experience. So I just don't want you to, I want you to think about what's in the book, and then how can you add to what's there from your own experience. And if you want to sort of even put a little parenthesis, this is my own idea. Last thing, even though this is not like a formal paper, I want you to follow the format. So I'm not looking for a narrative, I'm not looking for an essay, and I want things to be spelled correctly. I just look, and you can make bullet point lists, number the list, I don't care, just sort of follow that format. So that's it. In my mind, it shouldn't be all that hard. You're just sort of going back and looking, okay, this is some things that I think are really good ideas from the book, and here's some stuff that I've discovered from my experience. So that's it. I hope that's clear. If not, I'm always around. You can virtually, you can zap me questions and everything like that. Okay, have a great